Hey guys, Kieran here. Today we're going to build a risk management plan to pass the FTMO 100k challenge. We're going to start right from the beginning. We're going to build some structure around exactly how we're going to trade the challenge and pass it. We're going to use the risk management tool, which I've previously shared with you guys. We're going to update the tool. We're going to add some new functionality. And I've decided rather than just building the additional functionality, I would record myself building it so everybody understands exactly how it works. And like last time, of course, this spreadsheet is totally available to you for free. There'll be a link under inside the description under this video. Before we get started, let me of course mention my Trader Seed program. If you want to get FTMO funded with huge discounts, go to traderseed.io or click the link in the description and come and trade with me. So, building a risk plan for the 100k FTMO challenge. So a while back I made a video of how to build a risk management plan. If you have seen that video, you may be familiar with this Excel spreadsheet. It's been one of my most popular videos, and lots of people have had a lot of great use, have got a lot of great use out of the spreadsheet. So today, what I want to do is extend the functionality to put even more structure and bring the risk even more, the risk management even more to the fore, so we can go into the challenge completely prepared for what lies ahead. So what I always say in terms of trading these challenges is you need to have a risk plan already prepared and set up before you open any trades. So I'm going to show you how to get the numbers down. We're going to figure out how many trades we're going to take a day, how much we're going to risk, how much we're going to risk per day, how much we're going to risk per trade, what our expected win rate is going to be, what the risk to reward ratio we're going to shooting for is going to be, and what win rate we're going to have to hit to pass the challenge, what win rate we're going to have to hit to break even and get a retake of the challenge. So we're going to go through all of these details. It's going to be pretty simple. But like I said, I want to build the tool so you guys understand exactly how it works, so you guys can download this spreadsheet and do it yourself. One other thing to mention, I'm going to be using the example of a 100k challenge, FTMO challenge. You can use this for any challenge, and it doesn't necessarily have to be FTMO. You can use this for a funded account or just your regular trading. I want this tool to be completely flexible, yet very simple to use. So if you haven't seen my previous how to build a risk management plan video, you should seek that out to get a more in-depth understanding of how this particular tool works. However, we are going to touch on that in this video, so don't worry if you haven't seen it. We'll go through that as well. So before we get on to the risk tool, what we're going to do is build some additional stuff over here. So what I want to do is get down into this tool all of the pertinent numbers that we need to be aware of in terms of building a risk plan for the 100k challenge. So first of all, let's add on here challenge 100,000 USD is the challenge. So our max loss on FTMO is always 10%. So our max loss is 10,000. Our profit target is also 10,000. And well, let's write our max daily loss here. Our max daily loss on FTMO is 5%. So in our example of a 100k challenge, it's going to be 5,000. Now, in the FTMO challenge, you have 30 days to complete the challenge. However, if you're not trading the weekends, like most people are not trading, the only markets that are open over the weekends with FTMO are the crypto markets. So most people are just trading Monday to Friday. So whilst we have 30 days to complete the challenge, we are going to assume 8 days for weekends. So we're just going to say 20 days, 20 trading days, which will give us 4 weeks of 5 days. So let's say trading days 20. Okay, so once we have all the pertinent numbers of our challenge down, what we're going to do is start putting some structure around how we're going to trade this challenge. So I think the simplest way to do this is to actually break out every day, every week, so we can start to visualize how we are going to allocate this risk. So let's start by saying week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. So these are going to be the 4 weeks we're going to be trading the challenge for. And we're going to have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, so when it comes to risk management, I think the best way to think about it is in terms of risk allocation. Okay, so what we have here with FTMO is we have a max loss of 10,000 USD. So what I think is the easiest way to plan and understand true risk management is to always think about how we're going to allocate the risk that we have. So our risk is 10,000 because this is the maximum amount that we can lose on this account. So I'm going to say on here risk allocation, and this is going to equal 10,000. So this is the amount of risk that we are going to allocate. Okay, so there's many different ways that we can allocate our risk, but I think what we're going to start off with is the most simple and the most conservative way, and that is to equally allocate the risk over every day of the challenge. So what we're going to do is we're going to allocate this $10,000 over each day, over each week. We're going to evenly allocate it. And what this is going to do is this is going to mean that there's no way for us to hit the max loss throughout the duration of the challenge. Okay, so what we'll do is we will allocate, so we have 20 days to allocate 10,000 USD. So for 20 days is going to be, well, it's going to be 500 a day. So let's do that calculation here. So we need to allocate this 10,000 over 20 days. All right, so that's 500 a day. So what we're going to do is we're going to populate in here 500 a day. But because I want to make this slightly more flexible, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of this, drop this below, and in here, rather than writing the USD number, I'm going to write the percentage number. So we're going to allocate 100% of these funds over 20 days, and that is going to be 5% a day. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add 5% a day. And then on this one, I'm going to say on week 1 on Monday, I want to allocate 5% of our risk. Okay, so that is going to, let me just change the formatting here away from percentages. Let's choose number. So on week 1 on Monday, we're going to allocate 5% of our risk, which is going to be 500. On Tuesday, we're going to allocate another, sorry, let me just lock this cell. Okay. So on Monday, we're going to allocate 500, Tuesday 500, Wednesday 500, Thursday 500, etc. So we have evenly distributed this risk over each day in the challenge. Okay, so there is no way that we can blow up this account using this conservative risk allocation method. Now, what we can do after is we can play around with this a little bit. So let's say that we didn't want to allocate all of our funds evenly over the 4 weeks. We want to take slightly more risk. What we can do is we could allocate 10% a day. Now, of course, if we allocate 10% a day, this is no longer going to add up to 100. So actually, to make it easier, what we'll do is we'll add some totals here. And don't worry if this Excel stuff is not making sense. You're going to get this all completed at the link below. I just want to show you guys how I calculate it, so it's easier for people to understand. Just copy the format. Okay. Why didn't that work? Equals sum of these. Okay. Okay, so like I was saying before, if we wanted to, we had this originally at 5%. Let me just set this back to how it was. Okay, so now you can see when we're looking at the totals here, with our conservative risk plan, we're risking 5% a day, so 25% a week. That's going to add up to 100%. We're going to allocate 100% of our risk. So in terms of US dollars, 5% a day is 500 a day. So that's 2,500 USD a week, which adds up to 10,000. So in the example I was just about to show you, let's say that we didn't want to equally distribute our risk over the whole 4 weeks. We could set this to 10%. So we want to allocate 10% a day during the first week. So we're going to allocate 50% of our risk. However, now we have allocated 125% of our risk. So what we'll do is we'll just zero the last week. So now we've front loaded our risk in the first week 50%, the second week 25%, and the third week 25%. In the fourth week, we're allocating no risk, and so the total now is 100%. And you can see in terms of USD, in the first week, we're going to be allocating 1,000 a day, and then 500 a day for week 2 and 3, and then nothing for week 4. Okay. So that's how to allocate risk, the different ways you can use the tool to change your risk allocation method. For our example, I'm just going to keep it as the conservative, equally weighted risk allocation method. And then we're going to have a look now at this tool. So in our example, we are going to be risking 500 a day, okay, every day throughout the challenge. So the next step, now that we know we're going to be risking 500 a day, is to ask ourselves the question, how many trades are we going to be taking throughout the duration of this challenge? So this is where this tool comes in. We have to give this tool the risk per trade and the number of trades we're going to take. So to keep this simple, what we're going to say is we're going to be trading for 20 days, like we talked about before, and we're going to take 1 trade a day. So we're going to be just taking 20 trades in total, 1 trade a day. And our risk per trade, like we calculated over here, is going to be 500. Okay, so we're going to be risking 500 a trade because we're just taking 1 trade a day for 20 trades. And the risk tool then shows us the different permutations of the outcome of these 20 trades. So just looking first of all at these columns here, you can see of these 20 trades, we could either win 20 and lose 0, we could win 19 and lose 1, we could win 12 and lose 8, we could win 4 and lose 16. These are all the different permutations of the outcome of those 20 trades. And then this column shows you the win rate for that permutation. So for example, if we won 13 trades and lost 7, our win rate would be 65%. If we won 5 and lost 15, our win rate would be 25%. Okay, so these just show you the different permutations of the outcomes of those 20 trades. Now this size is the risk to reward ratio. So this again is something that is going to be different for everybody. You have to align this with your own risk, the risk you want to take. You also want to align this with the type of strategy you're trading, and you have to align this with your, well, it goes hand in hand with your win rate. So the risk to reward ratio essentially looks at the amount of risk we're taking per trade. So let's take the example of 1 risk to reward ratio, or 1R as we call it. If we are risking 500, a 1R trade would be risking 500 to win 500. A 2R trade would be risking 500 to win 1,000. So 2 multiples of R, so 2 multiples of 500 would be 1,000. And you can see the tool shows you here what your win would be with that particular R when you have your risk per trade like this. So we're risking 500 for 3R trades. Our win would be 1500. Okay. So the way we use this tool is we use this the R in relation with our win rate. So let's say we are expecting a 60% win rate with our system. So we're going to win 12 trades and lose 8 trades. This is what we're planning to do. So to pass the FTMO challenge, to hit the 10,000 profit target, we are going to have to cast our eye across this level here, and you can see 2.5R. If we can hit a 60% win rate, we will make $11,000 profit, and this will get us to the FTMO challenge target. Okay, so 11,000. If we can get a 60% win rate with 2.5R. So sticking with this 2.5R, if we can hit a 30% win rate, so we only have to win 6 trades, we can lose 14 trades, we would still make $500 profit and break even and get a free retake of the FTMO challenge. If you're not aware of how the FTMO challenges work, if you don't hit the profit target in the FTMO challenge, but you don't violate any of the other objectives, you get a free retake. So it's always very useful to know where your break-even point is and make sure that your account is positive at the end of the challenge so you get a free retake of the challenge. So for 2.5R, all we need to do is win 6 trades over the 20 days. We can lose 14 and we'll break even and we'll get a free retake. In the best case scenario, we win 60% of our trades. So we win 12 of the trades, we lose 8 of the trades. With 2.5R, that will give us 11,000 profit and that will get us past the FTMO challenge. Of course, if you choose higher R's, let's look at, for example, 4R. To pass the challenge, to hit the 10,000 profit, we only need to get a 40% win rate. So we only need to win 8 and lose 12. And our break-even point is all the way down here, 20%. So if we win 4 trades in the month, we can lose 16. We'll still break even here because we'll have $1,000 profit. Of course, the higher the R multiple, the higher the risk-reward ratio here, the lower your expected win rate is going to be statistically. So you need to weigh the pluses and minuses, and you need to just be cognizant of, you have to have an understanding of the expected win rate of your system and plan your risk to reward ratio accordingly. So let's say we wanted to take, let's keep exactly the same example. We want to be risking 500 a day, but we wanted to take 2 trades a day. So we're going to be taking 40 trades. Okay, so 2 trades a day over the 20 days. We're going to be risking, now we're going to be risking $250 a trade because we're taking 2 trades a day. And we know that we want to allocate 500 a day. So 500 divided by 2 is 250. So now we're taking more trades. Let's say we wanted to shoot for a risk to reward ratio of 2. So we are going to be looking at a 68% win rate to hit the target, which is going to give us 10,250. And to break even, we're going to be looking at a 35% win rate here. So we need to win 14 trades. We can lose 26 trades. That'll get us 500 to USD and break even on the challenge. If we wanted to look at slightly higher R, let's look at 3R, for example. So we would have to hit a 50% win rate, win 20, lose 20. If we can achieve that, that'll get us our 10K profit target. And the break even on the 3R is going to be here, which is going to be 25% win rate. So we just need to win 10 trades of the 30. Okay, well, I hope that's made sense. Like I said, this tool now, you can play around with yourselves. You can allocate your risk however you wish. So like I said, if you want to be aggressive, you could change this to 10%. a day maybe. You can change it to more, it's totally up to you. Let's say you want to allocate your risk throughout the first 2 weeks. You could do that. Let's set these to 0 for weeks 3 and 4. Okay, so that's going to show you now, it's going to allocate that 10,000 risk over 10 days. So it's going to be 5 days of week 1, 5 days of week 2. After those 10 days, we're going to be fully invested. This has given us 1,000 USD per day. So once you have your per day amount, ask yourself the question, how many trades am I going to take during that day? And then based on that, you're going to plug these numbers into the risk tool over here, and you're going to figure out what risk to reward ratio you want to aim for, and what win rate you need to hit to pass the FTMO challenge to get your 10,000 USD profit or 10% profit, and also where your break-even point is going to be. Always, of course, keep in mind your max daily loss. Using this conservative method that we first did, it'll be very difficult to hit your max daily loss. Using the slightly more aggressive versions, I mean, the max daily loss here is 5,000 USD, so it's still going to be difficult to hit that using this this risk structure. But if you were to, for example, in week 1, oops, sorry, I'm doing that on the wrong one. On the week 1, if you wanted to allocate all your risk in week 1, okay, so we're allocating 100% of our risk in week 1. That's going to be 2,000 a day you're going to be allocating. So once you get later in the week, you're going to have to start keeping an eye on this max daily loss because you're going to have a lot of risk in the markets. So that's something you need to be aware of. That's it, basically. I want to add one additional thing. If this seems complicated, just ignore it. You don't have to. You don't have to use this. But for people who want to take a more advanced view of this, let me add another addition here. Let's call this risk to be allocated, and we're going to make this 100%. Let me just format this and I will explain it right now. So let's say, for example, we didn't want to allocate all of this 10,000 USD. We don't allocate all of this. We want to maintain a certain amount of that risk as a backup in reserve. We want to play around. Maybe at the end of week 1, we have generated profits. So the risk to be allocated, we can now play around with that and increase that a bit. But let's say we didn't want to allocate 100% of this. What I want to do is allow the tool to be flexible enough to say, okay, well, we don't want to allocate 10,000 of this. We only want to allocate, let's say, 75% of this. So what I want to program the tool is to calculate our USD amount based upon the amount that we want to allocate. So, so I don't confuse you completely, let's just keep that as 100. I'm going to change this calculation to also include the risk to be allocated cell. So let me just copy this across and I'm going to explain it. Okay, so right now we have an example here where we're allocating our full 10%, our full 10,000 USD over week 1, 20% Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we are allocating 2,000 USD a day. Okay, so let's say we only wanted to allocate, we only wanted to create a plan where we were allocating 75% of our risk. What we're going to do is we're going to change the risk to be allocated to 75%. And now what it's done is it's changed the amount of risk that we allocate per day as 75% of the amount that it was before. So before it was 2,000 a day, now it's just 1,500 a day. So you can see the risk to be allocated is 10,000. We're only going to allocate 75% of that. So now our total risk to be allocated is 7,500. So let's say we want to allocate only 50%. Now it's going to change our risk allocation to 1,000 a day. So in total, we're going to be allocating only 5,000 USD. So that's just something additional for if people want to get a bit more advanced on their position sizing, a bit more advanced on their strategy. If you feel like that's overkill, that's fine. Just leave this at 100%, never touch it. But I wanted to make it as flexible as possible. Another thing you can do is, at the end of week 1, for example, let's say you've made 5k profit, you could manually here, you could change this to 1,500. So for week 2, you can now play around with these numbers. Sorry, 15,000. You can play around with these numbers for week 2, and you can allocate based upon your current account equity rather than the amount you're starting with. It's completely up to you. Your risk management plan should be personal to you. It should be personal to you, personal to how your strategy works, how your mind works, your tolerance for risk, how you want to allocate your risk. It's completely different for every single person. What I want to do is try and create this tool to be as flexible as possible and to be used by the widest amount of people. Everyone who trades in TraderSeed, the first email they'll get from me is an email with this tool in it. Lots of people has found it very useful, in particular, of course, this tool over here, the risk to reward ratio tool. And now that I hope that I've added this tool here, I hope that people will use that as well and find it very useful. I'm going to reset all of this back to how it was. So when you guys find it at the link below, it's going to be nice and simple. If you want to just allocate your risk in a conservative manner and spread it equally over each day, just leave the numbers how they are. 10% a day for 20 days over the month. And this is just an excellent way to not hit your max daily loss. You know, using this conservative risk allocation method, it's impossible for you to hit your max loss as long as you follow this plan and only allocate 10% of your risk each day. So yeah, that's I need to play around with this number. I think I've broken something here, but oh, that's because I've set 5%, 10% a day. Let me set this at 5%. So, I mean, I hope me building this spreadsheet in front of you has not been like a total waste of time, but I felt that building it in front of you guys would just make it easier to understand for everybody exactly what numbers go into what calculations. And if you want to build upon this tool, create your own additions to how this works, then now you at least understand how it's built and how we have created a simple risk management plan to pass a 100k challenge, something which is simple to do but can be complex. I hope we've now boiled this down to a simple method that you guys can use. So like I said, the link for this spreadsheet is below this video in the description. Come and trade with me at TraderSeed, traderseed.io. There's a link also in the description if you want to get FTMO funded with huge discounts. Go to TraderSeed, check out the programs, subscribe to my channel, plenty more videos to come. Leave me a comment or question below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it and found it useful. And in the meantime, I wish you good luck.